Free to play competitive games. Now, this is going to be a video that I've been wanting to talk about and address the issue with. This video has no script, okay? This is just all me ranting, so this might be a very long video. So you might as well, put this on your side monitor, but I have a huge issue with free to play games. I despise them right now, and I think it's the worst thing to happen to gaming in such a long time. There is no reason for the top competitive games to be free to play. Now you may be asking, why is that? It's good. It brings in players, people who don't have money and aren't able to afford, they can, try these top, I don't know, triple A competitive games. But the main issue I have is that when the game is free to play, it completely loses its core, I don't know, competitive aspect because anyone can play it. There is no like, it's not like you need a buy in, but like, there's no sense of like, okay, I've spent money on something. When you spend money on something, you care about it more. You're not going to pay for something you don't care about. If someone said, here's this for free, the value of it is like, yeah, there's still value to it, but like, it's different when you're spending your hard-earned money. Like, you worked, I don't know, let's say a 40-hour shift for the week, and then you end up seeing a game you like. And you spend money on it. You're playing the game and you're buying the game because you worked hard for your money and you really want to play that game. GTA 6 is just launched recently, yesterday or the day before. You're gonna buy GTA 6 with your hard-earned money because you want to play GTA 6. If GTA 6 was free, it'd be like kind of like a whatever game, in my opinion. Like, especially with the price of it being like $80, €80, whatever, how much it costs. Like, it costs a good bit of money, but all these top competitive games right now, Overwatch, Valorant, League of Legends, Marvel Rivals, if you want to throw in Smite, I haven't played Smite in ages, but like all the top competitive games now, they're all free to play. And the issue, the main issue around this is that people don't care as much for competitive games, and you might be like, it's like seemed as cringe to want to try and ranked, like, like no one has a sense of like, oh, throwing is just such a normal thing these days where like if you don't throw or you're not like kind of casually playing ranked, you're just seen as cringe. Like, even calming is cringe these days. Trying to like, help, like, no, okay, I don't know if it's like help your teammates, but trying to communicate and trying to be like, okay, if we do this, we do this, we do that, we play like this, we'll be able to like work around the issue that's happening. Like, trying to like talk too much is now a problem, and people just seem to care less. But if you were to throw like a price tag on all these competitive games like there once was, I feel like that would solve a lot of the issue. There's two ways to fix the issue with competitive free to play games. Is that you have to make them paid. Straight up, they have to be paid. People who want to play these games have to actually want to play these games by paying for them. People are not going to just, download this game and just try it out and fuck around and find out if they have to pay money for it. If you have to slap on it, even 20, 10, 15, as long as you have to pay, and there's a chance of, let's say, if you start trolling, if you start, soft inting, hard inting, whatever, you can get banned, and then you have to pay another like 10, 15, whatever. As long as there's like, you have to keep paying if something bad was to happen to your account, or if you to get banned, suspended, and you can't just keep making Smurfs for free. That's another issue I'll address later. It will give people an incentive to actually try and rank, because like, people are not just going to be like, oh, I've spent 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, whatever, how much money. Let's say, we'll go over Overwatch 1's price, which is, I don't know, when it released was like, what, 50, 40. People are not just going to be like, oh yeah, let me just buy Overwatch for 40, 50 and just start trolling. Yes, people were probably like that, but like, you know, it just, Overwatch is like the baseline, I feel, for why it was so successful, is because it was super competitive. With Overwatch is the best competitive game of all time, due to the fact that I feel like I'm just reminiscing on it, and I see what people are like always reminiscing on Overwatch is because the game was very competitive. It felt like everyone was trying. Overwatch at its peak was will always be the best competitive game. Everyone can say League of Legends is like up there, but like League of Legends is a free to play game, which has always had the issue of inters, throwers, smurfs, all these underlying issues. There's a reason why when Overwatch came out, it just blew everything like out of the water. Like it was the game like when it came out. Like everyone was playing Overwatch. If you were not playing Overwatch, I don't know what you were doing. Like, you know, it was the competitive game. And then like, it slowly started dying because, balancing issues or whatever. Like, but at its peak, it was perfect. Like, you were spending money to play Overwatch and you were going to try. Yes, you can have obviously people soft throwing soft anything, whatever, but it's like you get banned, you have to spend money to buy another Overwatch account. Like, um it just wasn't as simple as that. I know on console they had a thing where like you could obviously just like make another account and then just throw on your disc, but like as like in PC and stuff, like you had to buy another account. And like going back to an issue that I was saying is that smurfing is just so prominent now because all these games are free to play. If I want to go hop on League of Legends, I can go buy an account for like 10, 15, 5, from the ranges of 5 to 15 euros and just go fucking hard in someone's game. And then if I get banned, I could just go buy another one and keep doing it. I could keep doing this as much as I want with no repercussions because I don't have to pay for League of Legends. Okay? There's no phone verification, so I'm not tied down to one account, which I think is the stupidest thing for League of Legends to make it so only in the Asian countries you have to have phone verification. Every single server should have that. Okay? I don't see the point of just making it like I understand it's because of their laws or whatever to make people not play League as much or whatever, but that should just be a case for every competitive game. You should have one account, or maybe they should either allow you to have one or two, maybe three max accounts tied to one phone, but it's like they should be tied to a phone number at the very least. Like every account for every competitive game should be tied to a phone number. And then obviously it has to be paid, but like the issues that like you can just it's just so easy to get Smurfs. Overwatch is now free to play. You can go buy a Smurf, you can go rank up a Smurf if you're bothered. It doesn't take that long, In Overwatch, I think it's like 20 wins or something, and then you can go play ranked. Marvel Rivals, like Marvel Rivals is just the definition of Smurf City. Like there is almost like 0 point to ever play on your main account in Marvel Rivals. Why would you? Like, what is the point? The game is the most unserious game, and the main issue why I'm making this video is because I've been playing Marvel Rivals a lot. You look at my channel, you look at my shorts. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, and from when it came out and what it is now, it's just like there's just no sense of like it's the most unserious game, and that's all I'm seeing is a lot of people are complaining because they don't know how to like I don't know see the game. Like it's very hard to like see this game, and I feel like it's just translating to what like gaming is now at the moment. Is that like all these games are free to play, no one really gives a fuck, everyone's just kind of playing the game however they want and however they see fit. The sense of competitiveness is just kind of gone from gaming. Like even if you were to dumb it down and like look at your Call of Duties and your FIFAs, like they're just not the same as they once were. Like everything is just kind of handed to you. Like League of Legends is now making it to where you have last hit indicators, the shop tells you what to buy, they'll tell you what to level up on your character. Like you're being handheld in a lot of these games, and even like Marvel Rivals will let like you can be negative win rate and be a high rank, which is not once in my 10, 15 years of competitive gaming have I ever seen a game be like, yeah, you can be neg win rate, but you can be considered top 98% in this game. Like it's mind blowing how that even works. And obviously all this stuff factored in will like obviously infatuate some people's egos and make them think, okay, I'm the best player of all time. I can do whatever I want. But for people to just sit there and then like do all this and there be like little to no repercussions because like that's the main issue that everyone is always crying about is that like why are these like ban systems and these like troll detections not working? It's because it doesn't matter. Like even if they had all this in check, where like okay, you can tell someone's trolling or inting, nothing is stopping these people going buying another account. Nothing is stopping these people just being like, oh, let me just spend like the amount of money I can buy 4 Smurfs or four, like let's say 4 to 8 Smurfs for every single game I've listed for the price it cost me to buy one copy of each game if it's priced at 40. Do you know how ridiculous that is? Like realistically, like that's 4 times that I can go and troll someone's game and let's say you don't even get insta ban because a lot of the time if you can hard int, but if you say nothing, because most of the detection systems are based on what you say, what you type, not really about your gameplay. Like you can have a bad game, quote unquote, bad game. You know, if you soft int and have a bad game, it happens. Apparently, it happens. But you know when someone's trolling. You know when someone's inting. You know, if they're not, if you're trying to tell someone on your team, swap, switch, they're sitting there, still doing nothing, still hard inting, still just dying. Like it's just, it's just trolling. It's not even like you're not even trying to like play the game. You're just there egoing, hard hitting, and then just like losing your team's game because like there's no repercussions to it. Like you just go play again, play next. If you get suspended or banned, you just go log into a different account. There is no repercussions of your actions for a lot of these competitive games, which is why the competitive edge of these games is dying. The competitiveness of these games are slowly dying. People are trying less. You're more likely to get a game that's more tryharding in quick play than you are to get in ranked. Ranked is kind of seen as like, I don't know, like it's like a different form and variation of quick play, like where you might sometimes get a competitive game, or you might sometimes, get like better quality. Like obviously at the highest rank of all these games, you'll probably get a high level game, but like that shouldn't be the case. Okay, that really just shouldn't be the case. Like if you're trying to introduce someone new to the game who's trying to play this game, yeah, if they want to have fun, let them have fun and quick play. But if they really want to try this game and try to see the peak of this game that they're playing, they should be able to go into ranks and not have to sit there and be held hostage for however long because one guy's deciding to have a bad day and wants to troll the game because something didn't happen to him. Everyone in the game should be wanting to try and win the game. That's what would make the game fun and enjoyable. If you lose, it should just be because the enemy team was better. They played better. It should be because one person in your team had a hissy fit, cried, didn't get the character they wanted, didn't get to play the role they wanted, and it's just deciding to troll. You know what I mean? Everyone should be able to like enjoy competitive games. Like you wouldn't expect it. Like I can imagine watching a sports game of 11 people. Like let's say the World Cup is on right now, and imagine some player got brought on. Right, he's not playing his original role, and the coach is like, right, I'm putting you on. Let's say you're like a. Let's say like okay, we'll take this is a very specific example, right? And I know this doesn't really work because like obviously they're playing for their team, they're playing for their country, and it's not the same as playing with a bunch of randoms. But like hypothetically, if you put a situation where like let's say Bukayo Saka, right, comes on for England. This is a very specific sample because this is one I've just thought of on the top of my head. He comes on for England. He's a right winger. He comes on as a right back. Do you think he's gonna sit there and start throwing a tantrum and crying because like he's being put on a different position and a different role? No, like you have to like if he has to do the job for his team to win the game, he should he's gonna do the job he has to do. Like it's not like it's if you're competitive and you're playing competitively, you have to just like accept what you have to do. Like I don't know how else to really put it. Like but like in sports, like you're not like if your coach is like telling you these things and you have to act a certain way, you're not gonna be there throwing a hissy fit. And that's the thing is that like that's the whole like competitiveness, like I don't know, ideologies that people don't really grasp, like that like not everything is going to go your way. You're not going to play the same character, the same role all the time. You have to know how to flex, and that's one thing I don't know how people these days don't know how to like adapt and flex. Like if you're playing a game that has multiple characters, multiple roles, you should know how to play at least 2 3 characters for each role. Like sitting there and being like, I'm gonna play one character is the dumbest thing ever. Like, it's actually just so mind-boggling. Like, you're not playing a single-player solo game, like where you can just sit there on one character. What is the point of a game having all these characters and bringing out a roster of like 50 characters for you to just sit there and play one? Why would you buy a game? Why would you, sorry, not you buy a game because the game's free. Why would you play a game with these many characters and sit on one character and expect to play one character every game? Like, I don't understand that. That's just not gonna happen. If you played 1,000 games, half of those games you will not be playing your character. Half of those games you'll either have a bad matchup, someone will pick your character gets banned. You have to have a backup. You have to. You might get autofilled. You might be on a different role. Like, you're not gonna sit there in some games. Let's say there's a pro player is in your game, quote unquote. Picks your character. You're gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna throw this guy's game because a person who is better than me on my character has picked my character, or my character got banned, or the enemy team picked my character. No, like, you have to, like, and people's brains just control Alt F4 as soon as that stuff happens to them, and they just start, first timing. They'll just troll. They'll just, I don't know, like, be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna just do the most, like, and it's so annoying in competitive games these days that, like, it really rips the joy out of these games. Like, it really does. And I'm all for, like, play what you're best at, play what you're good at. There's no point in having someone who doesn't, play characters that they don't play well. But there are some, like, a lot of these games, right? Like I said, free to play. They're made for people to enjoy, and they're gonna have easy piss characters that take no skill. Okay, anyone can play them. There's no hands characters. You know what I'm saying? There are no hands characters where you can just pick and play. Like, honestly, like, you just press, like, the kit is just simple. Like, they're so simple. Like, in League of Legends, you can play Garen, you can play, I don't know, like, Yumi, you can play, I don't know who's a good one for mid lane. You can just, there's so many different ones, okay? You can play very easy characters. And like Valorant, you can just go play like Sage or Brimstone or something. In Marvel Rivals, you can go play Rocket Raccoon, or you can play Magneto, like Punisher. All these games. There's always, like, Overwatch, you can go play Soldier, you can go play Moira, you can play, who's a good tank? Zarya. I don't know, Zarya's, some people might consider Zarya a bit hard, but there's always a few characters that you can really, like, dumb down gameplay. If you don't understand the role you're on, you can, like, pick the easiest character for your role. Yes, it might not be the best character for your role, but it's better for you to pick a character that's easier for you to play and maybe pick up on in that game than for you to just straight troll the game. Like, I don't see the point. Like, you're wasting your time, wasting everyone else's time. What is the point? Then you lose points because now you've lost, and then, like, you're not even climbing. You're not even, like, seeing any progress. You're not even trying to improve because one bad thing happened to you, which is super annoying. And another thing also with these games, that these competitive games have really restricted, finding out who your teammates are and, like, what you are, like, able to know about them. You should be able to see, I think streamer mode is top 5 silliest things happen in gaming, unless you're actually, like, a stream, like, I feel like it should only be applied to people. And I'm not a streamer. I'm a content creator right now. I stream sometimes. I'm not a big enough streamer to say, oh, stream sniping is that, like, big of a deal to me. I understand if you're, like, a huge streamer where you have thousands of viewers, you are gonna get stream sniped. Okay, people are gonna find out who you are. They're gonna throw your games, whatever. But a lot of people who aren't streamers just hide their names, so other people who, if you get into games where you run it, so, you see the same few people, in your elo, you want to throw their games, you don't want them to know that you threw their games until, like, you get to game. I don't see the point of that. Okay, so here's some examples here. Marvel Rivals have it. Everyone has streamer mode on, and I don't understand why. I don't see the point of it. Private profile system. The whole private profile system is the dumbest thing to happen to gaming. There is no reason for people to have their profile private. Do you want to know why? It's because people get flamed and they get to troll games. Do you know how much more of an incentive it is to have private profile system in place? Because Before, you're able to go, oh, let me, Marvel Rivals and Overwatch, for an example. You go into a game, oh, let me see who's on my team. Click on their profile. Okay, so oh, we have a Mercy main, we have a this main, we have a that main. Obviously, it's a case of like, okay, the enemy team can also look at these people's. Okay, no, in Overwatch, I think you could do that, but in Marvel Rivals, you can't. So you were able to look at people's profiles and be like, okay, so they have a Genji main on their team. We can pick counters for Genji. I understand that. Okay, but this is also plays into the part of like, then this guy should be able to play 2-3 characters where if he's getting counted on his Genji, he's gonna play Genji, but if he's getting counted on his Genji, he should have a character that he can play that isn't Genji, you know. But that's not the main point of this. Is that the main point was that you should be able to tell who your team plays, but because now you might have someone who is like a Mercy main playing DPS. Why is your Mercy main playing DPS? Well, because the profile's private, you're not gonna know that you have a Mercy main playing DPS. You know what I'm saying? And the same goes for Marvel Rivals, where like you can hide your profile, and obviously people now they're mad for stat tracking on that game. So like if your profile's open, they'll stat track and ban your characters. I understand that too. But then at the same time, like you're gonna have someone who just like a Luna main or like a tank main, and I understand, and that's what I'm saying. I understand it's okay. I think it's good if you can play other characters and other roles, right? But it's like when you look at a person's profile, and their most obviously their best role is obviously playing tank. They should play tank, and then afterwards, if you're able to fill, then you fill. But if someone else is there who's obviously better at the role that you're filling for, and he's playing a role that he's not supposed to be filling for, when he could be playing the role that you're supposed to be playing, because this person is just like, oh, I've had 5 bad games where I've been playing my role, I'm gonna go now start playing this role. It doesn't really make sense. Like, okay, you're put onto a team to play the role that you play. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be playing football and be like, okay, I've played 5 games as striker, let me go play center back. It doesn't make any sense. So in Overwatch, you were able to OP.GG people in your lobbies. They completely took that off by putting in people's names, and I think that was one of the worst decisions that happened to League, because you were able to find out if you were going to get trolled, and you were able to dodge. Taking out the dodge system, I think every single competitive game should have 5 dodges per day. 5 at the minimum. At the minimum. If someone's trolling your game, you should be allowed to leave the game and dodge. Okay? Your team should actually, there should be a button to cancel the game. You should be able to just click a button and say, terminate the lobby, terminate the game, because why should someone have to sit here and lose elo because one person's like, yeah, nah, let me hold you hostage. I'm gonna lock in the worst character and troll the game, or just start feeding the enemy. Why should I have to sit here, waste my life for that? And it all just stems down to these competitive games. They're free to play because they're trying to monopolize skins. They're trying to get the game is free, okay? So the money people will be spending on the game, they spend on skins. And then after that, they try to like slowly like keep you like, oh, okay, you win a couple of games here. Now, match fixing or EOMAM, or I don't know, like the term for all these games, it's there, but it's not there. I understand if you're good, you'll climb, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But clearly, right, the game wants you to win a couple of games, and the game will want you to lose a couple of games. That's just what's going to happen. You're going to win and lose. You're going to win and you're going to lose some games, okay? But they want you to play the game as much as possible. So, you're there to see how many skins they drop. And then, you see a skin that you might like, you spend money. That's, they're trying to keep you there. Like, that's the whole point, like, and the game being free to play skips the whole, oh, I need to spend money on a game. Because if you spend money on a game, you're going to be less inclined to spend money on a skin. Oh, I've just spent 40 euros on this game. Oh, there's a skin in the shop, but I've just spent 40 euros. Now I've spent an extra 20 or 10. That's now 50, 60. It's just like all this kind of starts adding up, and then in your head, you think it. But if the game is free, you're like, oh, I've spent no money on this game. Let me spend 20 euros. I won't mind. What, like, I don't mind that. Especially for people who don't, have a whole lot of income. That's good. They can actually like buy skins for the characters they like, and then you can throw in a battle pass, as every single one of these games seem to have battle pass, because that's the most lucrative thing they could possibly add to every single game. Because look at all these competitive games. There's not a single competitive game I've mentioned doesn't have a battle pass. Not a single one does. Like, why does a competitive game have a battle pass? They name me like, did any of these games have battle passes? Overwatch never had a battle pass in Overwatch One. League of Legends didn't have a battle pass for the past what 3 years. Well, my rivals is new. Valorant had a battle pass when it came out. To be fair, but that's because like there's no real good way of getting skins without a battle pass unless you actually pay money, which is fair. But it's like if you compare it to CS:GO markets, you know, there's like a difference because the way the market works in CS:GO and you're getting skins is a lot different with crates and stuff. But like, I actually haven't even talked about CS:GO as well. CS:GO's one is just so many cheaters. That game, don't even get me started. That game is just riddled with cheaters because it's free to play now. It's riddled with cheaters. Like, yes, obviously you have to pay for Premier or Premium or whatever, but that game is still riddled with cheaters. Like, and it doesn't even cost that much, you know. But yeah, that like overall, like I don't know. I feel like competitive gaming is pretty much dead. You know, you'll never see a peak as good as Overwatch, and I think that will be the peak of competitive gaming. There's no sense of like, oh, you know, like even like okay, like we'll just take it from an example of like even communicating. No one communicates anymore, really. Like 90, like not a 90, but like 70 to 80% of your games is you're more than likely gonna be sat there in pure and utter silence, unless you're a duo or trio. You might have a few people communicating, but I feel like, you know, years ago it was so much more, you know, people were a lot more talkative. Like now it's just like everyone's just sat there probably on Discord, like streaming their game. Like I think it's crazy that even a game like League of Legends still doesn't have voice chat. How is the competitive like professional gameplay for League of Legends? Like if you go watch SKT, G2, Fnatic, they're all mic'd up talking to each other. That's the peak of the game. Professional gaming is the peak of the game. That's when you actually see how the game is played right properly, you know, at the highest of level. The highest skill ceiling of the game is that. Okay, they're all using mics, but the game doesn't have voice chat. I don't know how that works. You know, you're just losing a whole aspect of the game because being able to communicate with your like voice and tell your teammates what's going on is so much more significant than pinging and typing, because not everyone can pay attention to pinging and typing, but if someone is there talking to you, telling you what's going on, that helps alleviate so much issues and problems. If I'm able to tell my bot lane that my mid laner is roaming, or I'm able to tell my team that the jungler is here, you know, everyone will be a little bit more aware, and there's less chances of, oh, my lane is being camped by this so and so. I'm throwing the game because I've died 5 times to a gank that, you know, I can't look at the map for 2 seconds because I don't have that like awareness of like looking at my map or warding and all this stuff in League of Legends. I keep like picking out specific games, but like I couldn't imagine like a lot of these games you have to rely on like typing and talking and then people leaving voice chat. Like what is the point of playing competitive games if you're not going to use your mic? Like I don't get it. But overall, that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like all these free to play games, no one cares, no one gives a fuck. You can just go make new accounts, you can just go smurf, you know, it doesn't cost you money to go play these games. So like at the end of the day, it's no one's real problem. Like so they don't really care about it, and the companies, all they care about is just making their money from the skins and farming. Like I'm sorry, Marvel Rivals, every single skin in Marvel Rivals is just money. It's just them trying to make money. They're all gooner skins trying to appeal to the crowd. They don't really care. I know it's the most unserious game. That's the whole, you know, premise of the game is that like, yeah. But like, I don't know, like this is just like if I want to play a competitive game these days, just like I'm better off just playing quick play or just like, you know, doing nothing about it. But this has been a very long rant, and you know, 30 minutes. I don't really expect anyone to watch all 30 minutes, but like, I don't know, maybe side monitor content, someone might watch 30 minutes of it. But it's just a huge issue in gaming. I don't think it'll ever get better, to be honest. Like, realistically, like, every game is just kind of slop at this point. You know, battle pass, skin, slop. You know, they don't ever fix the underlying issue with the gameplay, really. And like, yeah, if you don't enjoy it, don't play it. I understand that too, but like, I don't know, really. Like, just, that's what I mean. Like, that's why like it's just so hard to like have that sense of competitive edge, because you'll never really get that from playing competitive. Like, that's why there needs to be, I don't know if there needs to be like, you know, face it for every single game, so like the game feels more competitive. Like, that would be nice in every game if I could, you know, maybe have it like, you know, CSGO has face it, but like, I don't know, someone would have to just make that, or I don't know, we'll have to see. Like, but if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I don't know, tune in for the next video, because I have so much more rants about games these days. They're really, really slacking in general. Like, just all these games, like characters, balancing, just like, it's just like a huge money scheme by companies just to feed you garbage. They don't really try as much as they used to anymore, because they know people will play them. Like, so that's the end of that. Like.